This one's about touring an auto parts store that closed in the 80s with parts still on the shelf, looking at a private junkyard, touring a 1949 Chevy dealership that's now like gearhead nirvana, and of course, road tripping my new Jeep from Grand Junction, Colorado to Phoenix, Arizona. Freiburger here, that is Rick Péwé, and that means this is going to be another one of our original DED tours where we take a semi-abandoned 4x4 and go on a road trip, this time trying to make it back home. The vehicle this time is going to be the new to me 1971 Jeepster Commando. So what's a Jeepster? The first generation was just a jaunty two-wheel drive car made by Willys Overland from 46 to 50, though Rick says some were sold new into 1952. He also says the second generation started in 1966, though they were made from model years 1967 to 71. The model designation was C101 and the name was Jeepster Commando. The newly designed body was on a chassis with a 101-inch wheelbase, and the underpinnings were essentially the same as the shorter Jeep CJ5 in the same years. When AMC bought Jeep, they created a third generation, which was now called Commando as they dropped the Jeepster name. The Commando model designation was C104, and they were model years 1972 and 1973. Those had a front end called a bullnose to accommodate the longer AMC inline 6-cylinder and V8 engines. My Jeepster is that middle generation, 1967 to 1971, and they're actually kind of uncommon. They made less than 50,000 of them, actually less than 5,000 in 71, and honestly, 71's the best year. I've got the 225 Buick V6, I got a Dana 44 in the back, a 27 in the front. The 71 model has the good Saginaw steering box and crossover steering. This thing is actually a premium unit, and that's why when it became available, I snatched it up for $3,500 or trade for livestock. I got out the cash. Anyway, I bought this thing when I was in California, and our friend Tracy Clark hooked me up with a guy named Greg Gardner who bought it for me here in Colorado, and we're gonna start wrenching on it now in Greg's garage because as great as it is, it still has some fiddling that it needs. It just needs minimal stuff. I think the biggie is a pinion seal in the back, and we're gonna lubricate everything, change a fuel line, and find a bunch of other stuff that's wrong along the way. Yikes! Why is that red?
Look it up!
I am trying!
He's dying!
Why is that bleeding? How is that full? It must have water at the bottom.
Why is it red?
The transfer case puked red fluid all over everything.
It's not supposed to be red.
No! What was all that about?
Wait a minute, and that was from the top?
Yes! That's what I'm saying!
So it's about a quart overfull.
Yes!
Yeah,
that's totally ATF.
I was just checking the fluid in the Dana 20 transfer case, and the top plug dumped a bunch of red fluid out of it, which means it's overfilled radically and has the wrong fluid. We're looking for water to pour out of it right now.
Oh.
Ah, no water.
No water anyway.
Just red goop. Why would somebody put ATF in it?
But it's like used ATF.
It's half ATF, half gear oil, that's why.
Yeah, that's why it's funky. Good Lord, don't they know the vintage of ATF and 98 don't mix? Oh, good. Wow, we needed that.
Oh my gosh.
Huh?
Came right off.
Right off.
Oh, there's the spring from the seal. It's trashed.
Wow. Twing, twing. But, ooh.
Gonna have to hammer that baby?
I don't know.
Uh-oh, is the pinion bearing horrible? What is that?
No, it's fine.
What is that?
This is like rubber or something. Yeah, they did a lot of silicone. I almost feel like it's been sleeved, but no, it's a good surface. We're okay. We just got to get all this crud out of the splines. In other words, someone's been in here before.
Yeah.
And this looks like a speedy sleeve, which is to make a seal surface new. It's just a thin piece of steel.
Yeah.
Okay, oh my gosh, you have a seal puller. So the idea behind this is to go like this, not get your face caught in it. See that? I'm gonna try it. Ah! Now you notice that the pinion goes in and out? Well, that's because it's supposed to. The actual yoke holds it in place. So all we gotta do now is drain out that cruddy fluid, put in a new seal, put it on the yoke, tighten it up, and go.
Rick is fixing the rear pinion seal, and when we took that apart, it looked like the gear oil was really muddy. So we're gonna go ahead and pop the cover and change that. They did not mess around. That's gonna need a screwdriver under the lip. This thing is like welded on. How come the drippage looks like hair right there? What is that? It's like dog hair dripping out of the thing.
It was a farm truck.
Maybe the goat contributed a little bit more than we thought. This is the most ridiculously glued on diff cover in the history of mankind. No idea what this guy was thinking. There you go. Wow.
Wow.
Well, it's an open diff, we know that. All the teeth appear to be there.
The old tag is still here. And if you look real carefully, you can see it says 47-11. So what the math tells you, it's a 427 to 1 ring and pinions, which is really good. But we were kind of worried because whoever put this on with this much silicone, that ain't right. So we went ahead and looked on the ring gear itself to verify, and it is. It's a 427, so that's cool. I'm going to be replacing the pinion seal in this Jeep. So first, got to have the pinion bearing. Then you got to have the slinger put on the right way, not the wrong way. And then you put on the seal with a special tool that we had to make because the pinion yoke or the shaft is still there. So you can try all you want beating on this thing, and it's probably not going to work unless you come up with a selection of finely machined scrap like this and hope it works and that your creeper doesn't take you away. Sounds pretty good. A little more at the top. And because I can't see anything, doesn't get much better than that. Okay, now the pinion yoke goes on, and I have already taken care of the splines with a little bit of silicone, which is cool. Tap it in there. No, it's not tight enough, but I want to make sure it's about the same as it was. Done. All right, drive shaft. And we already pre-lubed it. You know what pre-lubing means?
Lubing before it's lubed.
You got it. Oh no, he's hitting the caps. Oh no. Now all I gotta do is find all my nuts and bolts. You gotta make sure the cap is underneath that tab. That's the big deal. I'm taking the locking hubs off so that we can check the wheel bearing hubs. In other words, this noise here That shows you have too much play in the wheel bearings, which isn't really a good thing. We gotta check the grease on them, then we gotta check the brakes, make sure all the springs are in the proper place and that everything's good. It looks like it had a brake job done, but it doesn't look like it was done right, so we'll check it out.
All right, we got a lot done yesterday. As a matter of fact, I have it right here. Greg met that lift gate tool, that was rad. You did the Speedo. I didn't see that coming. I dropped in an air filter, wheels, bearings, brakes, all that kind of junk, lubed everything, pinion seal, that was pretty big. I actually didn't expect that to get fixed.
Fluids?
Yeah, to me the biggest deal was the ATF. The transit transfer
was
case.
really wrong.
That was the biggest fail of the whole vehicle thus far. And Greg also fixed the exhaust leak. Today, there's not that much to do. We're gonna do wipers, fuel leak, and I'm gonna lube stuff, including the
air conditioning.
Air conditioning. All right.
What about our mascot?
The goat.
Randy the goat.
Yeah.
He's solid. I'm not worried.
Don't touch it. Here's something that you watching at home might not even realize because you're not old. Did you know you used to be able to get what they called refills for wiper blades? You would just change the rubber. And now that just doesn't happen anymore unless you can move that rubber onto this. This is proper.
I know.
Look at it.
It looks right.
Whoa. Okay, cool.
Uh-oh, which is which?
Yeah.
Supposedly, Lemon Pledge is the hot ticket for dashes and motorcycle plastic. So it restores them, brings them back to their natural luster. And if you put on enough, I hear it'll fix cracks. All right, now that may be a tech tip, but that part isn't true.
Ready to go.
Finally ready to go?
We are finally ready to go.
Actually, it wasn't that bad.
Dude, it's been amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You bet.
Would have been a lot longer without you.
Yeah, it would.
I was happy to help.
So I'm sure we'll be back,
Sooner or later.
but we're leaving for the last time for the first time. Right. Hey, this is my first time driving it, actually.
Wow.
Watch, it's not gonna run right now. Whoa. Didn't even give it fuel. Didn't even set the choke.
Perfect.
Can't drive it with my sandal on.
Oh,
There we go.
Fail.
Ready?
Yep.
Yep. Gotta do barefoot.
Wait till that metal heel thing gets hot.
Does it?
Yep.
We're off.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Just remember, it's a delicate transmission.
Yeah, I won't be power shifting it. Let me see if the brakes pull. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready for brake check?
Yeah.
Oh,
Much better.
hard to the right.
Well, that's good.
Goes hard to the
I want to go
right.
hard left.
Into traffic, you mean?
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah, it pulls pretty hard to the right.
We can adjust them.
Yeah. Wow, this lug's like a 225.
Yeah.
You think the flywheel weighs 80 pounds?
Yeah.
You know that Jeep did that and Buick did not.
That's correct.
One of Buick's complaints initially about the 198 was that it was a shaker.
Right. Same way with the 225.
Yep. Odd fire V6. V6s are unbalanceable.
Then how come they put balance shafts in the later ones?
Because they're unbalanceable. I don't think the Buick ever had that, did it?
I think so, yeah.
The 4.3 Chevy did.
Right. I think late 3/8s did.
The rearview mirrors are doing a little something.
They were working fine for me. How about your center rear view?
Absolutely flawless. Wow, this thing is sweet. I'm not even yelling at you yet.
What?
Right.
What is their mileage?
Speedo's not working.
No.
Your Speedo cable fix isn't.
Well, it was underneath. How's that sound?
I bet. Did it break the cable?
Hope not.
Was there a gear in it?
A who?
A gear in the trans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it had teeth on it.
Yeah. Not working. How do you feel about we should put gas in it and we need a pawn shop because we don't have a single tool with us?
We're doing 40. To give you an idea.
Okay.
Look at that dash.
It sucked up that lemon pledge.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably going to need actual, like, something.
Oh. That attracts dust?
Yep.
Yeah.
Randy's a little annoying.
Oh, no. Randy's large and in charge.
The goat. You know what else the goat means, right?
Greatest of all time.
That's right. I don't know if the Jeepster is the greatest of all time. That was
This is
an officer.
the greatest Jeepster of all time.
It actually is. The 71 model
Yeah.
with, well, it could have a 4-speed, but I don't think they came factory with a 4-speed ever.
Here's Colorado.
Yep.
That's high.
Crossing the Colorado River.
Yep.
Our first step here has got to be pawn shop because we need tools because we have none with us and something's sure to break.
We don't even have a hammer,
No.
much less a screwdriver.
All right, we shopped all over town, stopped at like 5 places. It was a mess, but we had a lot of fun.
There's a lot of places.
And we got a gas can. Everything here tool-wise represents about 220 bucks worth of stuff. That's because I splurged and went with the
You bought
snap-ons.
not new stuff, but good quality used stuff.
That's really old snap-on. It's good. Ooh, I
yeah.
scratched my hood with it too.
Yeah, we'll buff it out. Oh, see, look.
Hey, don't drop it on there. Ah, you're scratching my patina.
I'm rubbing the patina off.
Oh, we're polishing.
Okay, this is Guardian ware. This is aluminum cookware. It's real popular in the 30s.
Oh, yeah?
To 1956. It's kind of like sold by door-to-door salesmen, but it's really top quality stuff. It's rare to find something this nice. The trouble is you usually find them without the lid, glass lids.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, they get separated, they go to a yard sale, they're done.
What else did I get? Our standards are sort of sockets, wrenches. I actually stepped up over here. I've got SK sockets, Blue Point wrenches, and snap on those things. The hammer is good quality old man stuff.
Yeah, that's perfect.
I like that. And the other stuff is just normal. What do we get here? Channel locks.
Right.
File. The thing important about the file is it's flat on one side and round on the other. So
Rather
that's
than
good.
carrying 2 different files.
Yep. How come we always like these?
Well, because you always need to cut something.
Yeah.
And again, it's this long thing, or you just go
Little hacksaw.
take your finger off.
I bought Craftsman like ignition wrenches
That's a
because
score.
who's ever done that in the last 30 years?
Whoa.
And I don't know. Wire strippers, genuine American channel lock. I always search the screwdriver buckets for Craftsman. We're littering, we'll grab that in a minute. I generally get a pair of good vice grips. These are Stanley, not like real. And then some pliers and a couple more screwdrivers. So
Right.
that's
Important
kind
thing,
of
you
it.
try not to get Chinese in stuff because
Yeah.
it may last once, but it's the second time you're really gonna need it. And all this stuff will last even more than that.
The last thing we need is actually a good tool bag and
You don't like the paper
Radical.
wine bag?
the paper wine bag. Is that what it is?
That's what it is.
Yep. Finally, we're headed out of Grand Junction, Colorado. We're going to start heading south on Highway 50.
Yeah.
Going to go to Delta and stuff.
Delta,
right?
Montrose, and wonderful places beyond.
First of all, it was raining and we figured out the wipers are gonna work once I get them off my GoPro. Second of all, the engine's going naka 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 naka. So we're pulling over to find out what's up with that. Dirt.
Dirt every day.
We did it.
Hear anything?
No. Hopefully it's that alternator mount. Wouldn't that be great?
Anything better than a dead engine, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so listen to it. Purrs.
So why is the naka 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 related to engine speed and not road speed?
I think a spark plug wire is laying against something, shorting out, and it's compression knocking and making noise.
Let's have a look. You can't lean it on the roof.
Yep.
You can't.
Can't even lay it on the
Nope.
GoPro.
No, it's gonna hit the horns.
I got it.
Okay.
I got it. Now you look.
Spark plug wires.
Lean on the alternator too.
Plug wires are a little crusty, but they're doing something. Could be this. Let's see. Okay, the wires are doing nothing that they weren't doing before.
All right, the spark plugs are tight.
I don't know.
Well, like they didn't blow out or anything.
No. And if I take the plug wires off, they will be junk.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Rev it up! All right, we definitely have something funky going on with the engine. It's making noise and it's not the alternator bracket.
It was like it was the rocker.
Oh, you think so?
Coming right in here.
Yeah.
Well, unless it's the exhaust blowing somewhere.
Well, it sounded like a misfire popping some kind of problem, didn't
Right.
it?
Right in here.
Yeah. And we don't have a valve cover gasket.
Right.
This.
Comes in a tube.
That's Butch. What? That's the worst.
You've done all this other stuff with RTV and you're worried about valve cover gasket?
Yeah, that's horrible. That's horrible. No. You don't do that. It's not acceptable.
Oh, I see, but it's okay on a rear end.
It's okay for you.
Here, here's the rest.
Let me see if the rear end's leaking, actually. I'm gonna go look and check on our rear end leakage. Let's see. Not leaking.
Good.
Pull a valve cover off and look at the rocker arm.
Here?
Yeah.
We don't have any gaskets.
Well, what are we gonna do? Just let it break?
Well, I think it's already broken if it's broken.
Here's what we decided. Just drive the thing. We kind of have no choice because we're in the middle of nowhere. We're keeping the speed way down and trying not to make the engine make that horrible noise. And when we get to civilization in a parts store, we're gonna start investigating. But if we take it apart here in the middle of nowhere, we're going to break a spark plug wire and make our situation even worse.
That's all I can say.
That's all you got? So where were we? Delta, Colorado. We limped the thing all the way to Montrose at like 50 miles an hour. And I think the thing that we learned on the way is that it's definitely running on 5 cylinders.
Most of the time.
Yeah, it's gotten worse. It's no good. So
But it comes back now and then.
It does.
Yeah.
We decided on a plan of attack here. I want to compression test it, and so we're going to carefully remove all the spark plug wires, remove all the spark plugs, inspect for problems along the way, obviously bad spark plugs or a bad plug wire, and then we'll compression test it, and hopefully we will have found a problem by then. We pulled all the spark plugs out. Here's how they look. There was one that had just radical deposits arcing over the 2 electrodes. That's a problem right there. That wasn't good. And then there's one here that looks really rich, and maybe that's because it has a bad spark plug wire. We're not sure yet, but we're gonna carry on with a compression test. All right, the great news we just have is every cylinder is 130 to 150 PSI, so we don't have any major mechanical problem going on, we don't think. Rick, what did you find out with the carburetor?
Well, the carburetor actually moves on the base. It's not uncommon, but we never checked it to begin with, so we got to tighten up this, we got to tighten up the 4 bolts holding it to the manifold.
And it had a vacuum leak on the vacuum advance, but
right.
Here's the big deal.
Ready?
Yes. Whoops! That's probably our issue. That hook right there came loose.
And what would it sound like when the rotor's hitting the inside? Yeah, there's their noise. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna have a look for carbon tracking, contact points. That thing's brand new.
Oh, look at all the crap.
Oh yeah, it's got a lot of red dust in it.
Yeah.
The terminals are good, but see all that red dust?
That's not good.
That's gonna need to be cleaned out.
And then look at the rotor.
Oh, look at the rotor.
And
see
notice the V6 rotor.
Got the big long thing because it's a V6 odd fire. So sometimes it's gonna fire there and sometimes it's gonna fire over here. That is V6 greatness right there.
The Phillips are loose here too.
Are they?
Yes.
Whoa.
Look at that. Okay, how about housing? Nope, housing's
good.
All right,
okay.
We're good to go.
I'm gonna hand you the Magic Phillips. Let's take this off and see if the advance mechanism is doing anything.
You really are a glutton for punishment. Next thing you know, we're going to be rebuilding a distributor as well as a carburetor. But the cool thing is, we can rebuild both the distributor and the carburetor right here on site. Now, if this is an original good style cap
or a rotor,
the screws will not come out. They're
correct.
Captive.
Yep. And we're about to see the advance mechanism. This being a GM type distributor because this is a GM type engine. And it's got red dust on it and it actually works fine.
It's fine.
It's all lubed and fine, but see this red dust? We're gonna want to clear that off. It's not that good.
Carb clean?
Yeah.
Or brake clean?
Because that's explosive and it'll be great when we put it back together.
Important thing is to let it evaporate.
Oh, it wipes right out of the cap easily. The rotor's a little different. And I'm going to Lucas zinc this thing because it makes me happy and because it was gored low. Oh, spilled Lucas zinc everywhere. All right, we've aired out the distributor for a long time after spraying it with a brake clean. And we're going to install that and then we'll fire it up. We got everything wrapped up with the engine. We did the distributor cap, we tightened the carburetor, we did the spark plugs. We didn't do the spark plug wires. We cleaned out the distributor. Rick made the alternator not clank around, and now we're gonna fire it up and see how well we did.
All right, you ready now?
What's gonna happen?
We're gonna hopefully run and drive. Here goes.
I do have it full of carburetor cleaner.
Okay.
Oh, something terrible's happening.
It runs fine. All right, then we gotta pull a wire at a time, figure it out.
Yep, it's still running on 5. Yeah, I can hear it through the carburetor.
That's 5.
Yep, still running on 5. We fired it up and it's still garbage. It's still running on 5. So just now I pulled out that one spark plug that was black when we took the spark plugs out. I removed the spark plug wire and the engine ran the same. I connected it, it still ran the same. So that plug wire might be bad. The other thing is we found the distributor cap is still really, really loose. So we're gonna start by tying that down. Brilliant field fix, the likes of which we've never done before. Look at this, right there. Paracord that Rick has had in his luggage since time began, holding down the distributor cap. Firm. Wow, that's good. Ready to start it again with the paracord holding the distributor cap?
What do we have to lose, right?
Nada.
Okay, here we go.
This is gonna be good. That runs on 5 still.
Wiggle it.
Wait. Hear the ticking?
Yeah.
That's new. Now that it's got spark to that cylinder, it's ticking. That's not good. I hear ticking in the engine. Oh no. I hear that. I'm gonna pull that wire. Here, let me pull it off while it's running. Listen. No change.
New wire.
The bad part is, it's sparking. Seemingly consistently.
Don't need a wire.
That's bad. Change of scenery. We found stuff that was actually wrong. We found the bad spark plug. We found the ridiculously loose distributor cap.
Yep.
Kind of the loose carburetor, not really.
Plugs.
We did spark plugs, and after that, we started flailing.
Yeah.
We still haven't changed spark plug wires, but we're convinced that's not the problem.
The old ones are still spitting out juice.
I know, they were. I think the thing is, I felt like we were just like, so we sat down and thought about it, and I'm like, I think the cam went flat.
Yeah.
I said that, right?
You did say that.
And then I talked to Steve Brule at West Tech Performance, who I do all my dyno testing with. I'm like, Steve, so we got this engine where it pops through the carburetor, and the more you rev it, the worse it is. Have you seen that happen with a flat cam? He's like, of course. That's exactly what that is.
Yeah. He sees it all the time.
Yeah, so this is bad news. And the way I'm gonna check it is by pulling the drain plug on the oil pan. And if the oil that comes out is all nice and sparkly and metal flake like jazz fingers.
It's not nice.
That's not good. So I'm gonna pull that out and see if that's actually what the problem is.
I mean, you need to change the oil anyway.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna drain the oil, and in the wind, it's gonna blow in my face. And it's gonna be hot, so I'm gonna get burned and yell. Well, doesn't want to come off easily. Okay, there it is. This poor guy next to me is trying to start his car, and I am gonna find out how big our disaster is here. Okay.
How's that going?
It's splashing everywhere, including on my phone, badly because of wind. Wow.
Need more paper?
Yeah, went all over my phone. But you know what? It's not metal flake. It is blowing everywhere. It's ruining my flannel, ruining my phone, blowing. I mean, I've never seen it this bad. Look at this. It is a full bloodbath.
This is like splattering the bathroom.
Wow, my phone is drenched. Okay, that was an epic disaster. Got on my fancy duds, got all over. My phone is the worst of it. It's absolutely wrecked. Wow, it looked better before I started wiping it. Now you're a blurry mess. How's that look?
Looks really good. See any sparkles?
Now, hold on, I gotta fix this. There's no sparkles in that.
There's absolutely no sparkles. There's no water. There's not really that much dirt when you can see through. That's not dirty oil.
And that's junk that's blown in. There's no sparkles there. Wait, wait.
Wait for it. Wait for the sun.
What's this?
You're not going to be a gold panner, Dave. There's no sparkles. There's nothing. That's about as clean an oil as you get.
I did not see no sparkles coming. And to the question of, well, wouldn't they all be in the filter?
No.
They're not, because if the cam's going flat, it's the oil
everywhere.
Comes down off the cam into the pan.
Right.
It does get sucked back up through the filter, but
Right,
there's always sparkles.
Right, and it's
always.
not a full flow filter system, right?
There are always sparkles in it.
So I'd say let's go a couple hours, check it again.
Do it again.
Or maybe not do it again, but at least check it.
Are we idiots for not changing the spark plug? There's no way it's a spark plug wire unless they're processing.
All right. Here's what the truth of the matter is. Spark plug wires start to break down within 2 years. I don't care what kind of wire or
they would have to cross over, which I've never seen in real life.
Oh, I've seen that. But even at that, spark plug wires are amazingly good.
Yeah.
But I never recommend anybody run over 2-year-old spark plug wires.
We've run 50-year-old spark plug wires.
I know, but I wouldn't recommend it to somebody.
Okay. Yeah, you wouldn't tell someone else to do it.
Oh, good Lord, no.
Wow, this is Exxon Valdez.
Pull it out. This is too good. Pull it out. I gotta get rid of it anyway. Maybe we can. Wait, can we dump some back in there?
It's among my worst oil spills ever.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm Olympic gold medal. Okay, here's the deal. We just changed the oil on the thing, and there was no sparklies in the oil, like, at all, which I really didn't expect. Now, that doesn't mean that the cam is totally gonna be okay, but at least for right now, there's no indication of that. And so, we are back to flailing. We're gonna try something neither one of us has ever done. Seafoam. Guys tell me it works. I've never tried it before. Rick, why are we trying this?
Because it's supposedly going to free up sticky valves caused by poor quality gas, old gas, that causes them not to work right. Once you get that running correctly, we should be going home.
No way. Okay.
This is called tune-up in a can, all right? That's what we used to call all this magic mystery stuff. So we're gonna try it.
So some of it's gonna go in the engine oil and some of it's gonna go in the gasoline.
And it's the same stuff, right?
Right. Each thing is the same.
And it says one for the engine and one for the gas.
No, not quite. Read the can. When all else fails, read the directions. It's like, in the gasoline, it's like 2 ounces per gallon. In the crankcase, it's 1 ounce per quart.
Okay, we know the engine. We have no idea how much gas our tank even holds.
Pour the whole thing in there.
Okay, I'm good with that. This is Fort Knox. It's worse than a hand grenade. Live action. Oh.
Okay.
Smells like hand sanitizer, which is interesting because what if it's just alcohol?
Gas cap coming in.
Okay. Done.
Never done this in my life.
I feel like I'm putting half a quart of alcohol in here.
Yeah. Super Snot installed. You know what? Let's fire it up and show people what it sounds like now. Unless, of course, it fixed it instantly, which is possible. And we'll see if it keeps doing it later. I'm not sure I've really shown you exactly what happens. Fire it up, Rick. Let's see.
Okay.
So listen to the thing as he raises RPM. You'll hear it popping through the carburetor. Go for it. There it comes. Hear that popping noise?
What?
I have put my hand like over the carburetor and it's actually blowing air the other way. So we know that there's something bad going on inside. All right, how long will it take to fix?
I think around the block or by tomorrow morning.
This is gonna be the Freiburger and Péwé Corona taste test. You know, the Corona beer comes in Extra, Premier, Light, and Familiar. The question is, can the Corona expert Rick Péwé tell the difference? First one. Keep your eyes closed and I'll go to the next one. What do you think that is?
That tastes like Familiar.
Okay, next one.
That's regular Extra. Okay. It's gonna be hard. I think that one, that may be light. Something's a little odd with that one.
Okay, last one.
Premier. So,
Ready?
oh yeah.
Open your eyes. You got one right, light. You call this Familiar, it's Premier.
It's totally backwards then.
You only got Corona Light correct.
Yeah. Let's finish these off,
Yep.
come back, and do it again.
We still won't know.
Yeah. Well then, how about if we just finish these off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Good morning. We're still in Montrose, Colorado now. We stayed at this hotel called Mine Cart Hotel. It's been here since 1936. And check it out. It's like good old school actual motel where you park right out front. It's really clean and cheap, and I highly recommend it. Last night when we got to the hotel, we did have a taste test to discover if Rick Péwé or I could tell the difference between Corona Extra, Light, Premier, or Familiar. We could not tell the difference, so that seems pretty lame and almost damaging to our reputation. But we had fun, we met some cool people, and hung out. We're still having this problem with the engine in the Jeep where it pops through the carburetor at higher RPM. And by higher RPM, I mean probably 2,500-ish or 3,000. But we've got Seafoam poured into the oil and the gas now. We're doing that to try and maybe unstick a valve if we've got a sticky valve. Possible, unlikely, but we're gonna hit the road and find out. The road trip adventure begins, even if it's with a frag Jeep. And there's a new noise. Can you hear it? Give it some load. Yeah, unfortunately, it's something that is getting louder with engine load. Like you back off and it doesn't happen, you get into it and it happens. It's not that popping through the carburetor. It's piston slap, rod knock, drive shaft coming apart, something rattling against something. Yeah, we're gonna have to stop and figure it out when we get up here to Ridgeway. Hear it?
Not bad. Acted neat.
Because we're having engine problems with the carburetor, backfiring, and also with some mystery knock, we're going over the, what's it called?
Dallas Divide.
9,000 feet, essentially.
Yeah.
8,900 and change. If we jump, it'll be 9,000. And it's pouring rain. The brake works great. The right front brake. It already started to drip on me, too. Oh, it's coming right through the windshield right here.
These big raindrops look kind of full of like grapple.
Full of what?
Grapple.
Grapple.
Yeah, not snow, not ice, not water.
Nah, it's just water. Wow, you're thinking they're thick? Oh, the ones on your side are.
That's what it said.
Wow. When does that Seafoam kick in?
Say Seafoam is just a solvent, okay?
It's a placebo. You ready to know what's in it?
Yeah.
Some sort of base oil, naphtha, and isopropyl alcohol.
I was right.
Yes.
Okay, so it's just the solvent.
Right. By the way, we've driven about 30 miles. We checked the oil at the last stop we made for water and stuff. And the oil in the crankcase is crystal clear. Like new. I mean, it's only 30 miles, but it's new. What we've established so far is this thing's great at 45 miles an hour.
It's a pleasure to drive.
You have to check this out. We're rolling along, we're in Dove Creek, Colorado, and we saw this really cool old school hardware store, and I was like, we need to stop. Well, Rick was actually, we need to stop. And I was able to pick up this. look at that old school dash compass. I'm not gonna put it on the Jeepster, but as soon as I get the Highboy Ford I've been shopping for, this is going on there. I said to the lady there, that's probably been on the shelf 30 years. And she said, probably longer than that. Epic. We're rolling into Monticello, Utah, and the first stop was like every gearhead's dream. This is a 1949 Chevy dealership, and this guy Greg Davis has turned it into like his own little enclave of cool stuff. We went inside, and the first thing we saw with these amazing old Jeep photos on the wall, stuff that his dad had done with flat fenders back in the day, and he had a cool old Jeep banner. We looked through the front room, I guess this used to be the showroom, and he's got his rock buggy in here with a big block Chevy in it. But out back, check out the motorhome with the built 460 set back behind the seats. This thing makes 500 horsepower. It sounds pretty wicked for a motorhome. We also looked around in the dungeon where the boiler used to be, and then upstairs, man, the back wall just has cool glass brick. Looking all around this place, you just think to yourself, man, I need this to store my 27 cars, but I don't think that's gonna happen. We had a good time with him. If you're through Monticello, don't drop in. This is a private guy, and he does have protections in place. So this is something that we got to see because Rick had met this guy before. Anyway, back on the road. Next, we're heading into a privately owned treasure. This is not open to the public at all, so please respect that if you figure out where this place is. It is an auto parts store, gas station, tow yard, and shop that is still owned by a lady who worked there as a teenager when the family closed the place sometime around the late 80s or perhaps the very earliest 90s. It's an amazing automotive time capsule with new old stock parts still on the shelf. When was the last time you saw a legit old time clock on the wall, or punched one yourself, or a catalog rack instead of a computer? Motor manuals, Jiffy Kit carb rebuild kits ready to go. And you know Purolator filters? It meant pure oil later. Flathead Plymouth 6, early CAD V8, GMC V6, they've got your oil pump. Trico. They invented the wiper blade in 1917. I got a gasket kit for our 225 V6, and wildly, it didn't have valve cover gaskets. A welder and battery charger back before computers were involved. Next, we're back inside the old repair shop. Don't even ask about the square body. That's special to the owner. And don't ask about the Firebird either. And yep, those are Hemi heads. Out back, I hear the junkyard is nothing like it used to be. The price of scrap took down a lot of good stuff years back, but there's still some prizes back here. There is a 66 Impala SS and a couple of parts cars. You could actually make a really good Impala out of this place. also hanging on to their old tow trucks. Check out the Crew Cab International. Most of the cars in this place were abandoned when they broke down on rural roads way back in the day. So that place was great, right? We had an awesome time digging around there. We spent way more time than we should. The Jeep is still running really bad. Floor it? Hear that? Yeah. I've convinced myself that it's not piston slap, it's not rod knock, it's all just popping through the carburetor. We haven't done anything about it. We've tried, but we haven't fixed it. I think when we get to the hotel here tonight in Flagstaff, Arizona, I might finally break down and actually put new spark plug wires on it. The odds of that fixing it, I think, are 0, but if it does, I'm willing to admit that I am clown shoes. There hasn't been much else today other than just road tripping, blasting through the desert, went through Monument Valley. Obviously, we're in Arizona now. Lots of fun planting GoPros on the Jeep. My favorite one today was on the front suspension, looking at our awesome Bushmaster steering stabilizer. Good morning from Flagstaff. We woke up this morning at the lovely Western Hills Resort since 1949. It's okay, little bit dingy, nowhere near as good as that minecart place that we stayed at someplace else. Anyway, the Jeepster is still running really badly, popping through the carburetor and everything. And we're pretty sure this has something to do with the valve train. Broken valve spring, something with a rocker arm, something with a lifter, something with a cam. But I am going to continue to just beat my head against the ground by doing things that won't help. I want to change the oil so I can look again and see if there's any metal in the oil, as if the camshaft's going flat. And I'm also just going to change the spark plug wires, because if I didn't, you would be sitting there at home going, why isn't this idiot at least trying the spark plug wires? But Rick, are the spark plug wires gonna fix it?
No.
No.
Sorry.
You've been resisting letting me change them.
No. Okay, see, here's the thing about spark plug wires. It takes me twice as long as anybody else, just like you, because I'm a perfectionist. So you sit there all day long making them perfect.
I am not going to do my typical Freiburger job on spark plug wires.
Good. So they could be loop-de-loop and everything?
Yes, loop-de-doo,
cool.
Everything.
That's what I want to see.
Thanks for making room. All right, I'm going to start working on that now, and then I'll change the oil afterwards. I changed the spark plug wires. It took no time at all. I told them that it was a 1984 Dodge D150 with a 5.2 liter, and I have 2 extra wires, but these fit perfectly, straight on the spark plug end and regular on the distributor end. Okay, Rick, you ready to fire it up and find out that that did absolutely nothing?
Let's find out. Here goes.
How's it run?
The same.
Waste of time. Now I'm going to change the oil, which will also tell us nothing other than settle my nerves that there's like metal in the oil.
And I got a good used set of spark plug wires out of it.
I did it. Ah!
Till the end.
Okay, now this oil's plenty black. I didn't get oil everywhere this time, but let's inspect to see if there's any metal in this. So what I'm looking for here is chunks, glitter, anything that looks metallic instead of petroleum-based, and there is nothing. This is perfectly clean. Look at this. There is no metal in that. That tells me it's not a flat cam.
It's not a flat cam. Still think it's springs.
Could be.
Valve springs. That's your beer.
We think it might be a broken valve spring, which scares me because it means it could drop a valve into the cylinder and kill the whole engine. And here's the stupid reason why we haven't checked that yet. I cannot find valve cover gaskets for this thing anywhere. We've looked at like half a dozen parts stores. They're always in far-flung metropolitan areas. I could take them off and just seal the valve covers with RTV, but that is gonna be such a mess. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'll let you know. Right now, I'm gonna pour a new oil and some goop. Having fixed absolutely nothing, We're back on the road. We are better organized. Ew, and I did polish the dash pad.
I'm really impressed.
That looks good.
When they find this upside down on fire somewhere, they'll say, wow, but they sure had a nice dash pad.
That Jeepster, really, that thing was mint.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
We're gonna like cruise, like old guys do, I guess. Go cruise to junkyards and maybe an antique store or something.
Okay.
More like a surplus store.
We have to drive on dirt today.
Oh yeah. We'll get there. We had dirt every day so far.
This is the official moment where I've given up all hope on actually fixing the engine during the trip.
Unless the Seafoam helps.
I drained the Seafoam out of the oil. Maybe that's why it was so black. The Seafoam picked up all the crud.
Ooh, you're right. It's a solvent. Because before that, it was like crystal.
Perfectly clear.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. We drove like 200 miles. It was perfectly clear. Then we Seafoamed it, and it turned black. Maybe it was picking stuff up off the inside of the engine like it's supposed to. Huh. Here are some fun facts about Jeepsters. Remember at the very beginning of the show, Rick and I were discussing whether they began in 66 or 67. Strangely enough, you can find conflicting reports online. What I discovered is they sold 2,300 of them in 66. But maybe those were called 67s? Anyway, undetermined. However, we did learn something really interesting about the model lines on this thing. You could get the Jeepster Commando in, and I'm talking 66 to 71. You could get them in a Roadster, which was no top at all, or had an optional soft top or soft half top. So that's for the Roadster. Or you could get a pickup, which is a hard half top, or you could get this, which they called a station wagon, which really irritates Rick.
Makes no sense.
But then you could also get a convertible. But the Jeepster convertible was not a Jeepster Commando.
Right. It was not a Jeepster Commando convertible. It was a
Jeepster convertible. That's it. And those, apparently, they wanted to sort of remind people of those original Jeepsters from when, 47 to 52-ish?
Yeah.
And that's why those convertibles had optional spare tire on the bumper. So there you go. More Jeepster information than you really needed to know.
More stuff than you need to know.
Dude!
That's why we're here.
Oh, dude. I'm getting that.
Uh-oh.
Dibs.
What is it?
Dibs. Oh, you'll see.
No.
Wow. I will tell you this. When I went to your house and rescued your mom's Buick,
yep,
I bought something from a thrift store that is going to be echoed right now as I acquire this. Wait till you see it.
This is one of my favorite stores, though.
Have you seen it yet?
The bench grinder?
And?
The polishing wheel?
Yes.
My God, that's beautiful. How are we gonna make that fit?
I called dibs.
You can buy it.
Oh.
It's gorgeous.
Is there a problem? All right, that's a bit of a problem.
How about this one?
That's a bit of a problem for me.
Yeah, but look at the quality.
Wow.
This is like machinist quality. Everything about it just screams perfect. Wow.
All right, well, I'm priced out of that. I wanted to get it, but we're gonna do some antiquing. We ended up not buying the, what are they, ball door grinders? Is that the brand? Those things are so killer.
Happy.
Too expensive for me, and actually they weren't grinders. One was a polisher and one was something I didn't even like understand what they were doing. However, we did get out of there with a new cordless ratchet for me. Aha. This makes me happy.
Half price.
It was. This was $100 and I saw on Amazon they're $189 and I've been needing one. So that ended up good. Now, where are we?
Oak Creek Canyon, Slide Rock State Park.
So we're heading down this big, long canyon, twisting down among the trees and the red rock and a bunch of tourists. There's a lot of cars on this road.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Basically, we came out of Flagstaff, took surface streets down to 89A, which is a highway that'll dip down ultimately to Sedona, which is going to be even worse with the tourists and frou-frou.
On a Memorial Day weekend.
Why are we going there? It happened that way.
I wanted to show you misery.
I'm counting on you to show me dirt.
Well, there's a lot of cool trails around Sedona, but on this weekend it'll be packed with rented Jeeps and side-by-sides and ATVs. It's not for us. We'll find some virgin dirt, or at least somewhat.
We did make it to Cottonwood, kind of not what we normally do on a DED tour. And I told you we were going to show you some of the local diners that we eat at, and this isn't one of them, but it is kind of cool. It is a burger station, and it's a burger place made genuinely out of an old Texaco. It was okay, a little bit fake 50s for me. I genuinely like authentic dives instead of like, you know, James Dean on the wall and Marilyn Monroe and stuff like that. Anyway, not bad. Now we got to figure out what to do. At this point, we're just getting into urban sprawl, so we're gonna take our last opportunity to head off into the dirt with the Jeepster. I'm gonna air down my cheap tires to 10 PSI and lock in the vintage Selectro hubs. For an hour or so, we just played on the mildest of obstacles, flexing out the suspension and doing the type of peaceful four-wheeling that you get with a bone stock vintage 4x4. The Jeepster is 52 years old and not in the best of health, but it's seemingly unkillable. We drove it about 650 miles this week and never did solve what's going wrong with the engine. That's a job for a future episode on the David Freiburger channel. Meanwhile, I'd sure appreciate you sharing my videos with your friends, and look in the description for a link to my merch shop where you can buy a shirt and support more DED Tour adventures with Freiburger and Péwé.